Good evening. Good evening. I hope you guys are doing well. All bets on me, Queens. Thank you guys for tuning in. I would like to take a minute to welcome you guys to this week's episode. We're going to continue our December series. Um, Sis, you got next. All bets are on you. I want to take a minute before I bring on our special guest for this evening, just to say welcome, welcome, welcome. I also would like to take a minute to introduce myself. For those of you who are unfamiliar with me, my name is LaShonda Walford, and I am the founder of this amazing All Bets on Me community. And I just want to say thank you again for you guys showing up. The continuous love and support that has been shown is just truly amazing. And it's blessing me and the women in the community in so many ways. So I thank each and every one of you for continuing to just show up week after week um, and support the efforts of the All Bets on Me community as a whole. I also want to take a minute to share the purpose. The purpose of the All Bets on Me community is to bring women together from all over the world, different walks of life, so that we can create a safe place for us to support each other, encourage, inspire, and motivate each other. Um, and just network. I think as women, as we stand alone, we are phenomenal in our own rights. But when we join together, we are a force to be reckoned with. Um, and we can impact so many lives globally together. So now that I've got that done, I would like to go ahead and bring on the speaker, our special guest for this evening, Miss Effie Robinson. So let me add Effie.
Hi.
Hi, how are you?
Good. How are you?
I am doing just fine. How are you?
I'm good. I'm well. Thank you
Good,
for
good.
having me. I'm so excited to be here.
Oh, no, ma'am. Thank you. It's a pleasure. I'm honored to have you on the All Bets on Me platform. We welcome you. Welcome you, welcome you, welcome you. Um,
Thank you.
so I've done the introduction. Um, and so now that you're here, I would like for you to just tell the women in the community who you are.
Hi, everyone. I am Effie Robertson, and currently I am a coach, certified master resilience coach. My clients currently call me the bounce back queen because I specialize in helping women transition from in their life from coming from trauma and resilience and just getting through the next steps in their life that they wish to move forward and just transition to the next stages in their life.
That's awesome. And the fact that you are a resilience master coach is interesting to me. Um, and I would like to I have a question. I want to know what landed you or what prompted you to want to become a resilience coach.
So, that's very interesting because for many years I have asked God, why me? Why me? Every time I go through something, it is, why me? Why did you put me through this? Why am I going through this? I always try to live my life, um, honestly. I try to treat people as I want to be treated myself. And so when things constantly hit me, I'm like, okay, God, I pray, I tithe, I do all the things that I've read about, I've learned about, that is in my heart to do, that I feel that you're guiding me to do. Yet I am always faced with these challenges. So why me? Why me? And finally, honestly, LaShonda, I woke up one day, I was like, oh, I get it. Because I'm supposed to be a witness to other people to help them get through whatever they have gone through. Like I have been through so many things. So, and me myself, I'm always, you know, with my degrees, I am the first person to say, don't give me a book and tell me that, hey, this is the way it's supposed to be done. Let me go through the experience and learn it. Let me go through the experience. And then I'm able to say, oh, I know how to do that. Because let's be honest, when we first go into a job, we apply for that job. Yeah, we may have a bachelor's, master's, PhD, or anything, and whatever that degree is. But until we actually get that experience on the floor, we really don't know what that job is, because every job is different, every company is different. And although it may be the basic fundamentals, they all expect something different from you. And so I was like, oh, wait a minute, I get it. I am one that always say, hey, don't tell me because you read it in a book. Tell me because you experienced it. So I know what it means to be a single mom. I know how it is to fight and to struggle through daycare and struggling through having to put food on the table. I know what it means to be divorced, trying to fight through your marriage. I know what it means to have a husband that was addicted to heroin. I know what it is to be homeless and you're hungry. You're so hungry that it feels like your stomach is eating itself. I know all of these things. So again, it was like, God, why have you put me through all of these? Oh, because I can be an example to people and help them get through and understand there can be a better version. There can be another side. You can get over it. Um, and not necessarily get over it, but get through it.
Right,
Get through it. And
right,
so I no longer ask God why. Now I'm saying to God, okay, what do you want me to do? So, and I did not know at the time there was even a such thing as a resilience coach. Because I was like, is there a such thing? Is really? So there is training that you have to actually go through. There is a certificate that you receive to actually become a resilience coach. But for me, it's not just about a certificate that I received, it's all about me saying, I get it.
right,
I get where you're at this moment. So let me help you with those tools to get through it. I get it. I get it.
right. I think that is key, you know, um,
Yeah.
when you do get it. And I'm glad that you were able to realize, or God was able to show you the why, so that you don't have to continue asking why. Um, so the things that you went through was not really just for solely for you. It was for those people who you're now able to help you reach down and you pull them from the different places that you once were. And I think that's wonderful. And a lot of times people want to know that you actually can relate to them. If they
Yeah.
feel like you just got a certificate or got a degree from reading books, but you haven't really gone through what they've experienced, there's kind of a disconnect, because it's like, how can you help me if you've never personally been where I've been? So I think that is amazing. And I think
Yes,
it's
because you
key.
can sympathize with someone all day. You can sympathize with them, but to empathize with them is mean that you have gone through it. I
Right,
empathize because I know those. multiple feelings that are trudging up with you within you right now. So I can get it. So, and I can understand it. And I understand whatever it is that you may need at that moment, because in our traumas of life, we all need something different, you know.
Right.
And sometimes people think, oh, well, maybe I need someone to talk to. Well, maybe it's not someone to talk to. Maybe you just need someone to just sit there in the room with you while you cry and do nothing else. It's not all about you just want to pour out about everything that's going on in that moment, because you need to get to that place to pour. So
Right.
sometimes maybe just to sit in that moment and sit in that space and say, this is just what I need right now, to know that someone understands my silence,
Hmm.
respects my silence, and will just sit here with me in my silence
Right.
until I process and get to the next step.
Right. Right. That's huge. Um, because oftentimes, and you know, because you've gone through things, um, people don't get that. They don't get. They don't understand. When I say people, I mean the loved ones around the person that's going through. They don't understand that I just want silence. I just want to cry. I feel like crying right now, and I don't want to talk, but I would like to have you here with me. Just sit here, like you said, and respect the fact that I just want to cry right now. I just want to be quiet. You know, I think that's I think that's important for people to have that. Um, and I think what you're doing is very much needed. I wish I would have known about it when I was going through, because I mean that's exactly that's one of the things that you go through. You know what I'm saying? You just it's one of those things, and it's almost like you're silent because you don't have words at the moment, and then
Yeah,
it's almost like when I do find the words, they're not listening to me. Nobody is
yes,
listening to me, um, and what I need right now in this moment.
yes, yes. And people often think, and I was guilty of it, thinking, oh, you can't teach resilience because resilience has to be learned of what you've been through. But you know, it's all in the mindset. It's all about teaching you those tools to get through those difficulties or those disruptions that you face every single day. And those tools can be taught. They can be taught to an individual. And it's not a matter of, because, you know, as we all know, you can go through something and it just depends on the individual, where you can go through something. You can go through something. I can go through something. We may have the same experience, but it will traject us different paths. You know, I may just fall apart. You know, I may resort to self abuse. I may resort to suicide. I may resort to drug abuse, where you may take that and fuel it to better yourself. It just depends. It just depends. So again, it's those tools that we can give to people and show people to say, look, you can be resilient. It's okay. And it's okay to sit in that moment and not be okay. It's okay to be not okay in the moment. And I think that's where social media has us all screwed up, where
Mhm.
we all have to hold out this persona and we have to be okay all the time, and we have to portray ourselves as being, this is what's going on, and behind the scenes this is not what's going on. And you know, and you see it so many times where people will say, oh, don't you hate it when someone posts something and then that's not really their life? We know they're talking about somebody. We
Right. Right.
know they
Right.
talk about,
Right.
you
Right.
know. And again, is social media is able to allow us really to be mean,
Right.
to project those things off on other individuals,
Mhm.
and sometimes we're not as supportive as we need to be in the moment.
Right. Right.
because people are really struggling. And even now with the pandemic, with COVID, and now we have a different strand coming out, people are struggling.
Right.
People are truly struggling. I remember this time last year, I do the blanket drive for the veterans, and this time last year we had over 200. Now it's hard to even get people to donate, and I don't think it's because they don't want to. I think it's just things are hard for people at this moment.
Right. Right.
Although people have pivoted, people have shifted, people have done different things, people have started their own businesses, it's still difficult. But
Mhm.
social media shows a different version of what's really going on in people's lives.
Right. It's almost like it's a permanent escape, sort of, from
Yeah.
what is actually really going on. Um, but and I think that that's part of. There are people that's well off and doing well, right?
Yeah.
But I think that's more the materialistic side of things is what glitters and makes everybody so interested and want that part of it. But even those people who seem to have it all together, when we talk about the material things, how are they emotionally? How are they mentally? Behind the scenes. Um, and sometimes it's not even really behind the scenes. If you can look at some posts that people make and you can see what they're trying to hide, if that makes sense.
Yes. You can
Yeah.
definitely see that. You could definitely see that. And oftentimes I try to be just myself, I try to be, I don't divulge everything. I have to be transparent about that. I don't divulge everything on social media about my life. So you can't watch my life on social media and say that you know me.
Right.
But I try to show the good, the bad, and the ugly. I try to show when I'm happy. I try to show when I'm sad. I try to be very transparent to let people know that I am a real person. Like, this is not, my life is not here, and I'm displaying that on social media, and then in the background I'm like silently suffering, because
Mm-hmm.
sometimes I'm really sad and I
Mm-hmm.
have no outlet but social media. And sometimes
Mm-hmm.
I'll come on social media and say, I won't say everything that's exactly going on, but I will say I'm sad. And I won't say that for a like or for attention, but at that moment, I'm really sad. And I
Right.
have nowhere, I feel like at that moment, I don't know where else to share that. And I
Mm-hmm.
know that is a place where, well, I can share it. Here is my page. You can like it or not like it. You can respond or not respond, but
Right.
it's my page and I can share it.
Right. And I think being transparent when you have those moments, I think that's important. Because even though you may not get anybody commenting on it, they feel the same way. And sometimes
Yes.
it's a relief to other people just to say, it's like you're able to like take a deep breath to know that okay, it's not just me, you know? And
Yes.
when you are brave enough to step out and just, be transparent and be honest, I'm not feeling it today. Like I'm having a moment, then that allows other people to be able to see that it's okay to do that. And you don't have to, suffer in silence, and nobody's gonna think something's wrong with you or talk about you for being honest. I think that just opens up doors to where other people who really need to open up and say, I'm feeling that too. I think
Yeah.
that
But
opens up that door of comfortability for them, to be able to be vulnerable as well in that state. Um,
yeah, but and it's just sad that social media has allowed us it just doesn't happen that often, and you see it
right.
doesn't happen that often. And I think that's why the mental health issues in
Mhm.
our world has increased, The
Right.
depression has increased,
Mhm.
um, because people are not, they feel like they really don't have that outlet to be honest. And then sometimes even when you do be honest, if you're not strong enough to endure the critics, the
Yeah.
naysayers, the, well,
Hmm.
what do you say that for, and all the negativity,
Hmm.
then that makes it worse. That
It
makes it
does.
a whole lot worse, and that depression increases. And so, I think, social media is just it's a different beast.
Yeah.
It's a different beast, and sometimes you really
Yeah.
have to just take a step back and say, okay, I'm not going to be on social media for a moment, because it is a different beast out there.
It is. It is. And you know, there are people that will attack people when they're trying to be open and honest, and that to me is the sad part. Um, because then it forces people to go back into their shell, and like you said, it makes it worse. It just magnifies their depression, and anything else that they may have been dealing with. So I think you're right in that sense, and I wish we could figure out a way to create just like a nice safe place so that people can vent and be honest about how they're feeling without being judged and criticized and put down. You know, I'm this is a start. I'll say
And
that.
exactly. And so that was my next statement, to say that this is exactly your platform that you have created. That this is a safe space. And because I know that you personally have created that safe space for women, and you are truly, hey, I want to promote you. I want to encourage you. I want to inspire you. I want to tell the world about you, because all bets are on you. And so I thank you for the platform that you have, unselfishly created for other women to say, hey, come on here and talk to me about, hey, you don't have to come on here and sell anything. Just
Right.
let's have a candid conversation about what's going on in the world, what you're doing, what's your purpose, let's just have a conversation. And this is a safe space. So I appreciate you for creating that. I appreciate that.
Oh, you're welcome. I did it. I'm not gonna say reluctantly, but it was one of those things where you know how we do sometimes when God tells us, gives us clear instructions, and we try to negotiate, or we try to reason with him and be like, "Are you sure this is like for me to do? You don't want no, it's like so many groups already, and it's like it doesn't matter." So I can't take the credit for that, but I do thank you for your kind words. That means a lot. But I, God gave me this group, the name and everything. He gave it to me to do because I do feel like women, we go through a lot, and when I say that, I
Yes.
don't mean to minimize the things that the men go through, but I'm a woman. I can't relate to
Yes.
what the men go through. So I feel like we go through a lot, and I feel like we are powerful. Like we're just phenomenal anyway as we stand alone. But when we come together, we can be so much more impactful. Um, and I think that as women, we can rally around each other, love each other, support each other, motivate, inspire each other. I think we can do that. Um, firsthand that it can happen. And
Yes.
I just wanted to that's just what I want to continue to do with the community.
And
And
and again, I thank you for that, because in all transparency, you and I both know you've asked me to be on your platform a few times, and I've said, no, I'm not ready. No.
and
And
that's
you was
okay.
like, yes, you are, sis. What do you do?
Yeah,
And
but
I'm like, no, no. And it was one of those things, like, God was like, what, okay, what are you doing? Oh, okay, what are you doing? And you just was like, okay, I know you need to be here, and I'm just going to keep asking. And you just kept asking. So I thank you. I thank you for not giving up on me in that aspect and
Right.
saying, you know what? I do bet on you. I do appreciate you and I do honor you, Effie. And you know what? I'm going to keep asking you until you say yes because I know you're supposed to be here. So I appreciate you, my sister. I appreciate you for not giving up on me because sometimes all too quickly we give up on each other. We as women give up on each other, not understanding what that other woman is thinking or feeling or going through at the moment.
Mhm.
And you never asked any questions. You never judged. Our relationship has never changed. You was like, okay. And then you would come around again. Okay. And then you would
Look, I was trying to give you a minute, right? I was trying to give you a minute to where you realize that yeah, I can do this. This is something that I need to do. Um, because I know that you're phenomenal. Like I know it already. But I feel like me knowing that and holding on to that instead of having you on this platform so everybody else can know how phenomenal you are is selfish for me to do that. To like hold you up. Like, Effie is phenomenal. Effie's wonderful. Effie has a lot of great things that she's doing and she can offer so many other women. I think that's selfish for me to hold on to you knowing that and not share it out. You have a lot that other women could benefit from, you know?
oh,
And
thank you.
experiences that you've gone through, I haven't gone through. So, in order for the community to move along and grow effectively, we have to bring other people that everybody can relate to. So, yeah,
Yes.
I wasn't gonna. Of course, I was not gonna give up on you. No, I wasn't gonna push you. I was just, whenever you dropped in my spirit, I just come and ask you again.
Yeah.
And this last time, you was like, "I'm ready." I'm like,
Yes, yes, yeah. So I do appreciate that. I do appreciate that. And again, that's what I feel like part of my purpose is helping women. Because again, I'm next year I'll be 50. I'll be 50. And I am now transitioning from being a nurse for 20 years to now transitioning to a whole another field, public speaking and coaching. I want to incorporate that in my spectrum. And it's like, that's scary.
right,
It's scary, and the unknowns makes you unsure if it's the right path. And no matter, and again, in all transparency, you pray all day, and I am a Christian believer, and yes, I do believe that God leads us and guides us and leads things in our heart. And but if you don't move on it, and if you don't accept it, then
mhm,
you're going to stay stuck right
right,
there,
right,
right there. And I want people to stop saying, oh, just trust in God. It's you trust in God, but God
mhm,
expects you to move.
right, right.
God expects you to trust in him
Mm-hmm.
and to make the move. And so sometimes we just have to make the move. And sometimes that requires someone not giving up on us.
Mm-hmm.
And so often we give up on each other. We
Right.
give up on each other, and we need to start. It seems like since COVID, it's just been this movement of like women, we are just great and powerful, and we are just commanding our place in the
Mhm.
world. Finally, we are commanding our place. And now that we are doing that, we need to be a force together.
Right.
And we need to remember that and not be separated and divided by our own um our own ideologies, our own decisions that we make, but as a woman to just be held together and stand together and be strong and have such a louder voice,
Mhm.
if we come together. And I just feel like now after pandemic, and pandemic is still going on, but it's just such a movement for women. It is just such a phenomenal movement for women. And it's so amazing to watch and to see our women just saying, you know what, I want to do something different. And
Mhm.
it's not about there's so many reasons why we pivot or change or do so many things. And women have, it could be daycare, it could be salaries, it could be so many reasons why they stay in their job. And then now so many women are deciding, I don't want to do that anymore. Like,
Right.
I want to be my own boss. I want to
Mhm.
make my own presence in the world. And it's just so phenomenal to see women do that. And I hope that we don't get lost and then we start to think it's our own world and we forget that it's a community.
Right.
And each community develops a bigger community, and we're just a bigger voice. And I hope we don't get lost in that, in our own individuality, and think that it's just my voice that needs to be heard. But it's all of our voices that need to be heard, and we need to be comrades and join forces and help one another and support one another all the time. So that's where I appreciate you for not giving up and say, okay, well, if today's not the day, well, tomorrow, next day, next week. You just let me know, but I'm coming back.
It kind of was like that, wasn't it? Was, I was trying to, I was trying not to be, too pushful, but
No.
like I said, just whenever he dropped you back in my spirit, I would just come back around and be okay, But we're here. So,
Yeah.
I thank you for accepting the invite. I thank you for betting on yourself. I thank you for realizing that this is something that you needed to do. Um,
Yeah.
and I want to go back to something that you said when you were speaking a minute ago about um, women now deciding that they don't want to work, regular jobs. They want to work for themselves. They just want to step outside of that box that they put themselves in, right? I think that that comes with women like yourself when you're stepping out, because whether people tell you or not, comment or not, you're inspiring, they can
Thank you.
see that. And especially knowing that you have now in transition from 25 years of nursing to now step into a different spectrum. So I think it's moves like that. And when you're transparent about what you're doing, that gives others inspiration and hope to, be okay. Well, if she can do this, then let me start putting my stuff in order so I can do XYZ, whatever that is, that they've been too afraid to just do. So I think that's where that comes from too. Just because that's a motivation and an inspiration to others. Just knowing that.
No, thank you. I so when COVID first hit, I had been thinking about, and because we are co-author sisters, and and I had shared with my co-author sisters that I seriously did not want to be a nurse anymore, and not because my spirit wasn't giving. I just felt like I was led to do something different. I just wanted at that time to do something different, but again, it was one of those things where um, is what you know. I've been doing it for so long. I just did it. The money's good. here I am sitting in this space, and I'm kind of dibbling and dabbling in entrepreneurship. And with my ex-husband, we were very successful with the cleaning business. Like, we made six figures easily. We were very successful with that.
Mhm.
And um and then when COVID hit, I said, okay, well, this is the time I'm not going to be a nurse anymore. So here's the thing: when everybody else said I'm going to pivot and get a new business,
Mhm.
I pivot and lost my career. That was
Mhm.
my pivot for
Mhm.
me.
Mhm.
When the world decided to slow down,
Uh-huh.
I slowed down and said, well, this is the opportune time for me not to be a nurse anymore.
Mhm.
And I get it. People say, okay, well, they need firsthand responders, and I get it. But
Right.
I've been thinking about this for years. And so now this is perfect time for me. And I quit. I gave my notice and I
Mhm.
quit. And so that was the time for me kind of trying to figure out what's next, what I'm
Mhm.
going to do. And what I constantly received from women that I thought would support me was, well, what are you going to do? Well, you need to do this, or you need to start this business, or this is the way you need to pivot. You can't just sit home and do nothing. You can't, like, the support I thought I would receive was
Right.
different than what
Right.
I expected. And so it really, and I don't know, and you probably noticed, but it made me shut down.
Mhm.
It really made me shut down because I was like, wait, everybody is pivoting at this time in their own unique ways. This is
Right.
my time to figure out, and this is how I want to kind of go at the pace of the world, which is slow, and
Right.
figure out
Right.
what's next for me. That was
Mhm.
my pivot point, where I kept getting a lot of pushback. No, this is the time to make your stamp. This is the time to do this and make your move. And but that wasn't my time.
Right.
That wasn't
Right.
my time.
Right.
And like, I want women to know and realize that just because it's your time or Sheila time or Laura's time doesn't mean it's your time.
Right.
And you need to move at the pace that you need to move at. You
Mhm.
know, I can't do, like, people will sit around all day and say, oh, I want to be a millionaire like Beyonce. Let me be very honest. I'm not going to be a millionaire like Beyonce. First, I'm not going to work like Beyonce work because I don't want to.
Right.
I'm going to just be very honest.
Right.
She got to work her tail off.
She do. She
She
do.
works her tail off.
Mhm.
I'm not going to be I'm not going to say I won't be, but if it takes that, I know my limitations. I know
Right.
what I want to do. I know what I am going to do and not going to do at this point in my life. So part of your mindset is understanding yourself,
Right.
not just thinking you can have it or you want
Mhm.
it, but understanding where you really are in your life and knowing, okay, well, if I really want to get there, it takes this. Am I willing to sacrifice that?
Mhm.
Yeah, well, I'm not really willing to sacrifice my time with my family at this point
Right.
to be where Beyonce is.
Right.
She
Right.
got there before she had her children. And I'm just using her as an example.
Right.
You know, um, I'm not willing at this point in my life to do the hustle and the bustle like 50 out, 100 hours a week. I'm not
Yeah.
willing to do that anymore
Right.
because it comes with peace. My desires, my wants, my needs are different.
Mhm.
And that entails helping other women get to where they want to get to, but that starts in your mindset.
Right. Right.
That starts really in your mind. And I want to help them with those tools to get there and say, I'm okay with being right here. And then tomorrow I'll make another step to get to the next place, in the next place. Because I'm known to beat myself up and to criticize myself. You Girl, you don't have to criticize me because I'm telling you, if you said 20 criticisms to Effie, I've already said 120. I am
Oh,
my worst critic, and after my incident earlier, I'm still seeing a therapist,
right,
and he's always telling me, give yourself a break.
right.
Give yourself a break. Is
Mm-hmm.
okay. And I am finally learning to
Yeah.
give myself a break.
Mm-hmm.
Give myself a break. And we as women, I don't think we're so busy taking care of other people. We're so busy forging forward, we forget to take care of ourselves and give ourselves a break and take
Right.
a moment and say, you know what? Even if this is COVID, even if the world has gotten slower, I want to be slow with the world. And
Right.
everybody else was trying to get faster and remain at pace. And I was like, I'm okay with being slow.
Right. But I mean, right. Really. Exactly.
And other
Exactly.
people weren't okay with me being slow. They
This,
were not okay with me being slow.
and that's kind of, for me. I think that that's so unfair for other people to not be okay with you choosing the pace for yourself. But I think it's more so fear. They could never imagine stepping out of their career that they've had for 25 years, and it's almost like ooh, like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? So that fear was, they put that fear on you.
Projected.
Right, right, that's the word, exactly the word I was looking for. They projected that fear on you, which was not a good thing to do to you. That was unfair to do that to you, because it's your choice. And I think now at this point, you are in a place where fulfillment is what was more important. It's not about the money. you know you just like, I've been a nurse for 25 years. I done made plenty of money, and I know exactly how much I can make doing that. But it's not about the money. You were looking for, it was purpose and fulfillment is what you were looking for.
Yes.
um and like you said, in your peace, working those long hours, and just chasing the bag, as people say. um that's tiring. And then you don't have as much time to spend with your family. Like, what's the point of having the money if you too tired? You don't even want to go nowhere. Like, it's just sitting there because I'm tired. you know I
Yes.
worked so hard
Yes.
for these. I worked 120 hours in 1 week. It's just, I understand. I understand
Yes.
exactly where you were in that moment. I understand it all, because I too, I did the same thing a few years ago. Like, when I really got serious about my business, I quit my job. I put in a notice and I left. Um, and I got a little bit of the same thing you did. What, you crazy, that good paying job, blah 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 blah. But they didn't understand I was on call all the time, 24/7, no weekends to myself, 14 plus hours a day. Like, it was a price that came with all of that. um and my husband thought I was completely crazy. I know he thought I lost my mind when I when I told him, I put the notice in. I know he did. He thought I was crazy. But now, sitting here, it was definitely worth it. It's one of those things where I just was not being fulfilled. And it was the same job that I had been doing for years that I love. It's just, it was time for me to move. And I knew that. So God made me so uncomfortable in that job that I loved so much. It sounds just like what you were going through, just so uncomfortable to where I had no choice but to say, "Okay, I'm listening, and I'm letting you lead me. I'm trusting you so that I can move the way that you want me to move." And now here we are, and I
Yes.
feel at peace. Like, I don't regret the decision at all. Um, how do you feel about your decision that you made so far?
I don't regret it. I don't regret it. And actually, and it's so funny because you you think about you think about prior to, I don't know if you ever think about, I remember 10 years ago where I made less money. I was able to save more money. I was able to do certain things. And now the more money I make, the more
Yep.
money you spend, the less
Yes.
money you save. It feels,
And you like, what? How does this work? Like
how does that
this
work?
is not adding up. Right. Right.
It doesn't add up. It doesn't add up.
Right.
We actually, when I said, okay, well, I'm going to quit, and I didn't want to put the strain on my husband, so I was like, okay, let's sit down and do a budget. We
Hmm.
ended up saving more money when I quit
Right.
than we did when I was working,
Right.
which was totally backwards.
Right.
But we did it. We actually saved more money, and I, those were just things I decided to pivot. Those were the things I decided to pivot in at that moment and change. And it really felt good when my kids were home, homeschooling. I
Hmm.
was able to be here with them. I was able to make them breakfast in the morning. I was able to make them lunch in the morning. There was no rush. Like, there was a standard rule in my home. You get up, you brush your teeth, you wash your face, you get dressed like you're going to school. Like, it's no rush because I'm not rushing off anywhere. You're not rushing off to any. Like, we had set rules as if they were going to school every day. Like, it just felt good to keep
Right.
them in that loop. And my kids stayed on the honor roll. They didn't fall behind, but I was here and I was able to participate because of the choices that I made. So,
Right.
do I regret it? Absolutely not. And
Right.
and not only that, but I got up every day to take 5-mile walks with my husband, and we would
Hmm.
talk
Right.
just talk and get closer and just understanding each other. And it wasn't a matter of me just being gone at work, because I really would work all the
Right.
time. I would come in, go to sleep. I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to set the alarm for 4 or 5 hours, and then I'm up and I'm back at work again.
Right.
Okay, if it was a shift coming up, okay, I'm going to cover that shift. I'm going to, and then it was like, okay, well, we kind of want you to be back in the manager position again. And
Mm.
so, it, you know what that entails, and
Right.
I kept resisting, but yeah, well, everything kind of falls in your lap. So I really was at work around the clock
Mm.
and
Mm.
tired, and
Right.
coming in grouchy with my family. So,
Right.
not to have that during a pandemic and have that peace and being able to get close with my family,
Hmm.
oh, that right there was priceless. So,
Right.
do I regret that time? Absolutely not. I
Right.
will never regret that time. Never. Never regret quitting. No, I don't regret it. I don't. I don't regret it at all. But
Right.
I but and I know for some women out there, it's not that easy because we have bills to pay and we have responsibility. So I know for everyone is not that easy. But I want women to know that it is possible,
Right.
and that there are other women out there that will support you and that will um be your cheerleader and say, okay, what are you doing today? Okay, you okay? Let's go.
Hmm.
What are you doing to get to the next step so you can maintain what you're
Right.
trying to maintain?
Right.
So, no, I don't regret it. I don't.
I mean, how can you? When you break it down like that, and you now all of that time that you were given to the job, you can actually give to your family. Like and that's so important because your kids are gonna forever remember, how you was there for them, how they was able to, spend more time with you. They a lot of people think that our kids care about the material things we provide. Now they like it, but that
Yeah.
time that they have, I'm pretty sure they will pick the time over anything that you could ever buy them ever in life, because that's important and they need
Yeah.
it. Um,
Yeah.
So look, kudos to you for that. I'm proud of you for that. I'm
Thank
so
you.
proud of you for making that decision and not I call it not being driven by money because that
Yeah.
and that is growth. Whenever you can,
Oh,
whenever that's growth. Whenever you can make a decision like that and not allow money to drive your decision, that's growth. That's growth.
yes.
And
Ab-
it's
abs- Absolutely. Absolutely. Because that was a big cut in our income. But the funny thing, nothing changed. Nothing in our lifestyle changed. Nothing changed. Nothing changed. So, um, I'm thankful for that. I'm thankful for that. And, you know, I think when you get to a certain point in your life that you just, again, your desires, your goals, your mindset changes and you want something different. And that peace of mind, that's what drives me now. It's no longer, how much a paycheck that comes in. Um, it's no longer, um, what can I buy or get? Now it's, the peace of mind, the peace that I had with my family, the time that I spend with my family, how can I be of service to other people? How can I be a helping vessel to someone that's going through either trauma or whatever they're going through? How can I help them get through that moment that they're getting through and help them see that there is another side, that there is possibilities on the other side?
right,
So
right,
yeah, driven for to something totally different now.
right. So, what advice would you give to like single moms that could be watching right now who's maybe a little down, not really sure if they can bounce back or not really sure how to bounce back from their current situation. And it doesn't have to be just single moms. I said that because that was one of the things that you mentioned earlier in the conversation.
Mhm. I would say first you need to believe in yourself, believe in the possibilities of life, believe in the possibilities of overcoming your circumstances. I think that circumstance after circumstance is compounded, and we then think there's nowhere else to go, and we keep sinking and sinking. And I believe I totally believe that mindset is important. And if you totally believe there are other possibilities, then you will start to work toward those possibilities. And it can be, people say one step at a time. Sometimes it's just 1 inch at a time.
Right,
Sometimes it's just getting up out of the bed and brushing your teeth.
right,
Sometimes it's just taking a shower.
right.
But if you take one step, 1 inch, and you keep moving forward to what you see as your possibility,
Mhm.
you can reach them. You can reach them. But you just have to believe that. And I would say to surround yourself by possibilities and
Mhm.
by people that are motivating, by positive words. We have to change that thinking. I have affirmations all over my mirror. You know, you can say no. You are good enough. You are
Mhm.
worthy. I still have affirmations on my mirror. I still have to remind myself. I still walk around with a book when I'm crying or feel like crying, I open up and I read them because I still have to make that affirmation to myself. I am good enough. I can do this. And so again, those are those steps, those inches to move forward. But I think the first thing is you have to believe. You
Right,
have to believe in the possibilities. You really have to believe in the possibilities.
right. I agree with that. Because if you don't believe, then nothing that comes after that. You're not gonna get past that. Um, so and for me, I think it's important, for people to surround themselves with positive people, positive things. Like you said, the affirmations. I love affirmations. I will affirm myself all day long, every day, if I have to. That's where I am right now in this space that I am right now. Before, I used to rely on other people. We can't do that. We don't have
Yeah.
time to rely on other people to affirm us or believe in us. And that this is why, because when you have an assignment that that is given to you by God, you're going to talk to other people to try to get them to believe in the vision that He gave you. It'll never happen.
Yeah.
They will never, never, ever, ever be able to see a vision or a dream that He gave you. They can't see it. And so I think that's where we kind of messed up, because when He give it to us, we're excited and we ready to hit the ground running, and we go run over here and tell this person, and they shoot us down, and like, what? Like, you can't do that. And there we go, right there. Just messed us all up because we're expecting them to catch it like we caught it. They can't. And
No.
it's nothing negative towards those people. They just can't see it. And
Yeah.
really, it's not meant for them to see something that He gave you. Um,
Yes.
and we gotta remember that. I was stuck on that one for a long time. When I was first started out building my business, I thought that everybody around me, I could not figure out why, like, why my family ain't excited like I'm excited. Like, I'm the first person in the family on both sides to ever do anything like this. And I'm just going and going, and I'm looking like, even my husband, I was looking at him a little side-eyed, because I'm like, what, do you understand what this gonna do for all of us? But that was, when I thought about it. And actually, it's not when I did think about it, but I was driving one day to a meeting, and I like Les Brown. I love to listen to Les Brown motivational speeches, right? And I was driving, and I was, before I turned that on, I was just driving, listening to music, and I got a phone call from a family member asking to borrow money, and whew, it like to threw me in a frenzy, because when that happened, I instantly went to, okay, so you don't want to help me, you don't believe in the business that I'm trying to build, you don't offer no type of help at all to do anything, but yet you want to borrow money from this. Where do you think my income come from? And
Yeah.
so I was just like, okay, I got to do something, because it really put me in a rage. I'm heading to a business meeting, so I'm like, I got to do something to get my mind right before I get there. And so I went to YouTube, and I punched in motivational speeches, and that Les Brown popped up. So I was listening to it, and in that moment, he said, and this I'm just paraphrasing. Basically, what he said was, "You mad at your family because they can't see a dream that God gave you." He said, "The first thing is, the dream wasn't given to you. I mean, it wasn't given to
Like
them.
give it
It
to
was given to
them.
you." Right. And
Yeah.
he said, the second thing is, if someone can't see something for themselves, or cannot believe in a big dream, something that seems outside the box for them, if they can't believe it for themselves, how do you expect them to believe in it for you? And I said, my God,
Right
that was
there.
a light bulb moment for me. When I tell you, from that point on, they were off the hook. my mindset immediately shifted, and I instantly understood. Okay, I'm like, okay, so I've been wrong. Thank you, Lord, for that. Because He got me together real quick. And so it's like it doesn't matter whether they are going to help you or not, believe in it or not. You still have to move forward with the assignment that I gave you. However, I was looking for support to show up like I would show up in support, right? So I
Mm-hmm.
can't say that they wasn't supporting me. They were supporting me in the capacity that they could.
Yeah.
I'm hands on. I'm the one that I'm gonna jump in. What you need help with? Do you need me to help you write
Mm-hmm.
policies, procedures? Do like I'm that one, but that's not them.
Yeah.
So I'm like, you know what? They off the hook from that point on. I don't hold that against anybody, and I don't expect anybody to catch the vision that has been given to me. And I'm gonna keep going and keep building, you know, and allow
Yeah.
them to support in the capacity that they can. So that was huge for me.
Yeah.
That was my
That
life.
is a huge thing that can be very discouraging for entrepreneurs and even for myself. When we did the cleaning business, no one really supported us, but I don't think it really mattered because we kind of did it. We expanded. It didn't really matter. But I think now with me totally stepping outside of nursing and anything that I've gone to school for, familiar with, is like people are looking at me like, and so who told you that? And
Right,
why you think you can do that?
right, right.
So when I tell you my supporters are not my family, they are not my family.
Yeah,
Besides, my immediate family and like my children are so excited. My husband is like, if he could have pom pom standing behind me, he is like my biggest cheerleader.
right, right.
um, but my family and I love my friends. I love my family dearly, but they are not my biggest supporter in the
Hmm.
things that I'm doing. They are
Right,
not. And so, but it's okay. And I had to learn to be okay with that.
right, right,
And did I cry about it? Heck yeah, I cried.
right,
They didn't respond. They didn't watch me. They didn't say it was good. I got no review. I got nothing. I cried. I had the self pity, and finally it was like, and Uncle Les, just to let you, that's Uncle Les to us. That's Uncle Les.
okay,
So he's like, yeah, they unfortunately, they love you. That don't mean they gonna support what you do,
right,
or they just gonna show up in the capacity that they can.
right.
And that's okay. Because you
Hmm.
have to remember your message, what you do is not for everybody. And that includes them.
Right,
That includes them.
right,
That doesn't make them exempt because they're your family, because y'all have the same last name or the same bloodline. That doesn't make them exempt. It's not for them either.
right. Exactly. And
So yeah.
so go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, no, I was just gonna say, so you just have to be
Mhm.
okay with that.
Right. You have to be okay with it. Because if you stay stuck right there, you'll never move to continue to build your business and bring your vision to life. So you have to be okay with it. And I totally agree with you when you say your family is not your biggest support. Like they're just not. And you have to, as new entrepreneurs, I think we all get stuck right there. That's
Mhm.
one that I think gets everybody stuck. But once you're okay with that and you realize that and you come to terms with it, you can take off.
Yes.
Because it's all about reaching those people that you're intended to reach. And family is just not the ones that you're intended to reach.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Because they know you as Lashonda. They know me as Effie. They don't know as us as, having a live video on Facebook and being motivational and inspirational. And although we may do that in our daily lives, but that's not who we are to them. we are just who we are to them. So we are not meant to serve all of them. And I'm not saying it would never be that case for any of our family or friends,
Right.
but typically they know that more intimate part of us, and so we're not meant to serve them
Right.
most times, and that's okay. And like you said, once we realize that, then we kind of soar, because we, as new entrepreneurs, we get stuck
Mhm.
there. And we're like, okay, we're trying to get a following, we're trying to get people to be clients, so can you just support us? And sometimes it's not even like you want them to buy something, it's like, can you just say something about it?
Can you just
Can you
share a
just
post?
say something?
Look, can you just hit share a post?
Can you share a post?
Right? Just share a post. Can you do that?
I don't even need you to spend no money, just share a post
Nope.
or something.
Just, yeah, just share a post. That's all I'm asking. But yeah, but that's funny. That's funny.
Yeah.
Um, so for your coaching business, um, if we have women who would like to, connect with you for and book your services, how would they go about doing that?
So you can go to effierobertson.com. I'm
Mm-hmm,
also on all social media platforms,
mm-hmm,
Instagram, uh, Facebook. I
mm-hmm.
am also on TikTok. I was trying to learn that TikTok.
I know
I'm
I
on
haven't mastered
Clubhouse as
that yet.
well. I do have a Twitter in Effie Robertson as well, but I don't use Twitter as
Right,
much. Again, it's one of those stages where, the older you get, all these avenues of social media, let me focus on one and master one, then master two, and maybe kind of stick to that. People say we should stick to everything, but again, I want women to know and to learn that what works for you. What works for
right,
you will work for you. The people
right,
that are intended to follow you will follow you. The people that you are intended to serve, you will serve.
right,
And I know there's so many ways to do so many things, but we just have to kind of find our niche and our way and what
mm,
works for us. And I want women to know that that's okay, because
right,
I kind of got stuck in trying to do everything that everybody was suggesting you do. I can't. And again, I have to be honest about who I am at this point in
right,
my life. One, I don't want to do all of that.
right,
I just don't. I
right,
don't want to do all of it. But
right,
it
right,
takes away a lot of stuff. I'm all about working hard and doing what you have to do, but I'm also about that balance. And right now, for me, I need balance with my family. I
right,
can work hard, but I want to play with my family.
right,
I do. I want to
right,
spend that time with my family. That, in this point in my life, that's what's important to me as well.
right,
Not only service, but my family is also important. Because what am I giving all of myself to other people, and I give nothing to the people that love me and the people that I love right here in front of
right,
my face, and the people that do support me in what I'm doing.
right, right. You have to have that balance. And like you said, you cannot. How you gonna reach outside of your family to give yourself when you're not giving what they deserve? The part of you that's for them. They deserve that. So you're absolutely right when you say that.
Yes.
Um, I think this point, um, and and I know there comes a time in your life where it's just family. That's how I am right now. Like, it's important to me to be able to spend time with my grandkids, my husband, my family. If I decide tomorrow I wake up and my parents are on my mind, guess what I'm doing? Getting in the car and I'm going where they are. I'm going to see them. Um, and my husband's gonna be right beside me, going with me to see them. I'm just in a place where I want that time with them.
Yes.
Um, and like you said, we go, go, go. We do so much for other people, and I don't want to neglect giving them time they deserve. And you just never know. When somebody's on my mind, I check on them. If they're not like locally where I can drive to them, I'll send a text to check on them. But if I can drive, I'm just gonna get in the car and go.
Yeah.
I mean, because
Yeah.
you just never know, you just never know. And I just don't want to be left with those I wish I would have.
Yes. Yes. I know that all too well. When I had my experience some months ago, and I was on a ventilator, and I remember when I shut my eyes and I woke up, I was in another room. And when I shut my eyes again, my husband was standing in front of me. And I remember just the fear that I saw in his face.
Mm-hmm.
And I immediately thought, when I was having the reaction, I told my daughter, I said, I'll be right back.
Mm-hmm.
My son was already in the bed sleep for school the next day, but I told my daughter, I love you and I'll be right back. And I immediately start thinking, I never told my son I love him. I
Mm-hmm.
didn't tell my husband I loved him. I see the fear in his face. And I was like, Lord, wait a minute. I'm not ready. It's some things I didn't do yet. I didn't tell my kids I love them. I didn't hug them. I didn't tell my husband I love him. He's not prepared for me to leave. And um, I never want to feel like that again. I literally lay there on that bed fighting, fighting
Mm-hmm.
to stay alive. It was so much easier to let go, but my body felt like it was on coals, like every
Mm-hmm.
vein in my body was on coals trying to fight to stay alive.
Right.
And I never want that feeling again. I want to be able, the next time I close my eyes, I want to be able to say, God, I hope I have done a good job.
Right.
I
Right.
want God to say, job well done, my child. I
Mm-hmm.
want to be able to close my eyes knowing I did not leave behind. Yeah, people are going to be sad, but
Right.
just those unanswered things,
Mm-hmm.
those feelings of regret. And I laid on that bed
Mm-hmm.
regretting, and I fought to come back. I fought to stay here. And I don't ever want to do that again, because the next time I go, I want it to be my time to go.
Right. Whew. I have to be real honest and transparent at this moment. When I saw that post, I was like, oh my gosh, you was full of regret. And I was just thinking, I didn't even get a chance to meet her. You know, I did not meet Effie in person. I have not hugged her because we've been talking about this. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So I'm
for what, over like what, almost 3 years now.
right, right. So I'm like, you know what? I I gotta do better. I got to make this happen. Like it, and I was so heartbroken. I really was. Um, and I mean, I knew that you couldn't, talk, but I said, you know what? When she come through, she gonna know that I was checking on her. I'm gonna send messages, and I was trying not to, worry your husband, but I said, I know what I can do. I'm gonna pray. If I can't do nothing else, I can do that. And I was sending text messages to your phone just so whenever you are able to, you know that, I was sending prayers, I was sending love, but I said, I promise you, I'm gonna meet Effie. I'm going to do that because it just, it just shows like you never know, and that was quick. Like it
it
was quick because
it
I
was
was just
totally
watching
quick.
y'all on your live from your
The
spontaneous
Vegas trip.
vacation you decided to go on, and I'm like,
Yes.
oh my gosh! But I thank God that you are still here.
Thank you.
um, so we know that you have a lot to do. You have stuff that you still have
Yes.
to do, and so
Yes.
watching you then, and then it's like afterwards, it's just like an explosion. Like he gave you that, that that boost, that confidence, that that purpose, that drive. Because I'm like, you woke up when you say you was laying there fighting for your life, I believe it. But baby, the bounce back from that, yeah, yeah, that I love it. And every time I see an announcement for something different, I'm just like cheering and I'm just so happy because it's like that you opened up after that,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah. Yeah. Because it was in that moment. It did not. It didn't matter. Like it didn't. And I remember when I was in there. So when my husband posted on Facebook. So at that point, of course, I couldn't talk because I had the vent down my throat. But I'm writing to him, and I wasn't supposed to be coming out of the medication. They were actually. It was so bad. I was fighting so hard. They were shooting me with fentanyl and propofol, the
Mm,
Michael Jackson drug.
right.
They were literally taking it out of the bag and shooting it into my veins
Ooh, mm,
because that's how hard I was fighting. So every time I felt like, and I told my husband, you couldn't see this. He said, no, I saw your body like fighting.
mm-hmm,
But subconsciously, every time my body would relax, it was like, just let go. It's okay to let go, let go, let go, let
mm,
go. And I was like, no, no, wait. And I would let go and I would like, no, no, wait, 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 wait.
right.
And when I tell you the pain in my body to fight, to stay present was, oh God, I can't. It was like every vein literally sitting on a coal of fire. It just
Mm,
burned. It was so intense. And when I came out, when I was in the hospital and I told my husband, I wrote, posted on Facebook, and he kept saying, no, I'm not posting this on Facebook. No, I'm not posting you on Facebook. And I said, we just came from Vegas.
mm-hmm,
Everything was happy.
mm-hmm,
I almost died. People need to see how quickly life can change.
mm, yeah.
Even in that moment, I was like, people need to see how quickly
Mm-hmm,
life can change and they need to live their life unapologetically.
right.
And so after that, I was like, it don't really matter if I fail. If I succeed, that's the bonus. That's the great part of it. If I
Right.
work this thing out. But you know what? If I never do, because God has told me to do something, that's the problem.
Right.
That right there in itself is the problem. So you know what? I'm just going to have to figure it out because I kept telling
Mm-hmm,
myself, well, I don't know how to do this. I don't know when to present this. I don't know if I should do this. I don't want to spend this money to do this. I'm not working. Now you're telling me to spend money to do. And I kept saying, no, no, no. And
right.
so now it was like, after that, God was like, so what you going to do now? So, so what you
Look,
doing
you,
now?
you still got excuses. You got excuses still. You ready to roll? Right.
You ready? So ever since then, I have literally just
Yeah.
go, and just figuring it out along the way and going. And I just know what's in my heart.
Mm-hmm,
I feel like what's the right thing to do. I feel like the right path that I'm taking. So I'm just going.
right.
I'm just going. And I have been presented with so many offers of this and that. And literally things, if it felt wrong, my answer was no.
Right.
It
Right.
did not matter. If it did not align with who I am, with
Mm-hmm,
who Effie is, and
mm-hmm,
where I see myself going, my answer was no, because I'm just not going to say yes just to be saying yes. I'm
right.
not. And it doesn't matter that it says, oh, well, this will put this much money in your pocket, or this will, I'm not interested in that anymore. It
Right.
just, that doesn't work for me. That doesn't
Yeah.
entice me.
Right. Look, we've grown past that. We've already passed that, right? You had already
Yes.
grown past that when you decided to resign as a nurse. You were already well past that point. Um, like I said, I am just grateful that God allowed you to still be here. Um, just woke you up a little bit so that you can be ready to move forward. And trust that His plan is definitely the master plan. Um, and I know that you trust Him, but we human, so especially when we stepping out to do something totally different, it's still a little like, a little nervousness. You're just
Mhm.
scared because it's different. Um, but now, and I know I have no doubt that this is just the beginning for you. Like I'm just glad to be here to cheer you on. I'm gonna be standing on the sidelines with your husband with my set of pom poms, and we gonna be cheering because this is just the beginning of what God is gonna do for you and through you, um, because you're focused on serving His people. You're focused on helping heal His people, helping them bounce back from their traumas and the things that happen to people in their life that's out of their control. And so there's no way that He's not gonna reward you for your yes, because that's what happened. You gave Him a real yes, um, and you're trusting Him to guide you and lead you. um, I'm excited for you. I really am.
Thank you.
Um,
Thank
and I
you.
have a question.
Yes.
I know we've talked about your coaching services. I want to know about your accessories. I want to talk about that because I want to know, how was that birth? Like, where did it come from? And I want the people to know. I don't want to, I want the people to know. Um, yeah, let's share.
So so
Let's
it's so funny because that's one of those things that I had started about thought about starting an online boutique
share.
um initially when I resigned from being a nurse. And because I'm just that type of person, like I'm not Claire Huxtable, so I'm not getting up putting on makeup every day. I'm not. I may add some jewelry, add a shawl, put a hat on, put some dangly earrings on, and you look put together. And then you take your hat off, your hair is a mess. That's me. That's the woman I am. I'm
Right,
just being. You can pull yourself together with some accessories, and you look
right,
like you all the way put together.
right.
So, I had thought about this then, which was 2 years, a little over 2 years ago, and I actually had started purchasing things then, and
Mm-hmm.
I had things, and I just again one of them things I just sat on and didn't do, and then you kind of watch everybody else around you like, well, I never told why they doing that. They doing it. And so my husband kept saying, well, when are you going to do yours? And I'm like, okay, I am. So immediately after that incident happened,
Mm-hmm.
here it comes. And so everybody was like, huh? Where did that
Right,
where
right.
did that come from? Where did that come from? So again, my accessories, and simply Monet. Monet is my daughter's middle name. So that's where the Monet
Oh,
comes from.
oh.
And it's accessories, belts, purses, earrings, jewelry. We're going to be adding some more things um, to the line, but just some things to kind of pull you together. That
Mm-hmm.
woman that needs a quick pull together because you don't have 2 hours to spend putting makeup on.
I
And
know.
quite honestly, I'm not good at it. So I have to fake the funk. I have to fake. I'm just being honest. I have to fake it. So I have to, add a little this and add a little that. And try to look well put together, and that's just not, makeup is just not my skill. So hey, let's add a hat, let's add some jewelry, let's add this. And so that was my idea. I was like, you know what, it's plenty of women out there, I'm sure, that don't have the time, don't have the skills, and want to say, what is the quick fix to make me look pulled together? And especially now, things are on Zoom, things online. You can look pulled together from the waist up and the waist down. You can look a hot mess.
Now that's right. That's true. That is so true. But Simply Monet, I
Yes.
absolutely love the line. I love it. I have a hat that I got. Well, I bought it for myself, but then my niece love hats.
She swiped
So
it.
well, she love hats, and so it's in the box. I just was like, well, I can get this for her for Christmas, but
Oh,
there's lots of great accessories on there, and I'm just so proud of you. And I just
thank
want to
you.
share, and I want the ladies to know all that you do. I know this was not enough time to put everything in here,
Oh, it's
but
okay.
definitely we will. When this is over, I'm gonna put the links to your website and the website for your coaching sessions, because I want them to be able to reach out to you for either services that that you offer. Um,
Okay.
I think that they will be in
Wonderful.
great hands.
And I want you to know, since you're such a big fan of Les Brown, which we call, and I say we call him Uncle Les, is
Mhm.
because I have an anthology book with him that will be coming out in January. So this is the first time that I am announcing this. I have
Oh
not
my
announced
gosh!
it
With less,
with
oh
Les
my,
Brown. So I have an anthology book that will be coming out in January called Possibilities Unlimited. So now that I'm announcing this, I didn't plan on announcing, but now that I'm announcing, I will post.
yeah. Look,
But
you
there
have
is
to
a
post
book.
now. Look, it's out, so you have to
Yes,
post now.
it's out.
Oh my
It,
gosh!
it's out. So I am doing a book with him that will be coming out in January, and then next year again we will be doing one more book with him as well. So I will
Wow.
have two books that I will have with Les Brown, Uncle Les.
Oh my gosh, that is, oh my gosh, that is awesome. Congratulations to you. And what was
Yes.
the title of the book?
This one coming out is Possibilities Unlimited.
Possibilities Unlimited. Oh my gosh. Well, let's,
Yes. Yes.
wow.
So I'll
Look,
I'll post it. I'll post it so
yes,
you can see our graphics. Yeah, I'll post it.
yes, please do. I want an autograph copy. I don't want
Yes,
no,
absolutely.
look, I don't want to go
Absolutely.
on no website and order one.
No,
That's not
you don't
my address.
worry. You will get one. Don't worry about
Okay,
that.
yes, ma'am. Oh my gosh, I'm so proud of you, Effie. Listen, the conversations that we've had, and so
Yes.
I just, like I said, I'm so proud of you. I am. I feel honored to just be able to be in your life, um, able to see what God is doing through you and for you. Um, I'm listen when I'm ready to come get my tickets for when you speaking. That's what I'm ready to do. I want my tickets for when you speaking.
Oh,
Because
thank
I know
you.
it's coming. I know
It's
it's
coming.
coming.
It's coming.
Right, right. I know it's coming. Listen, I feel honored. Look, the All Bets on Me community, we are truly honored because we got the news first about the anthology project. So I
Yes.
feel honored. Thank you for sharing that with us. Um, and I'm getting first dibs on my autograph copy of the book,
Yes.
my tickets to the speaking engagement that I know is
Yes.
gonna happen. And yeah, yeah. I'm
And
just
and I want to thank you, Lashonda, because when I say that you embody all bets in me, you embody that not just for yourself, but when you bet on other women. Because our conversations for the last few years, you have always bet on me. You have always supported me. You've always encouraged me. You've always been a cheerleader for me. And I appreciate that. Even when I just stopped and wasn't sure, you always, girl, what you doing? I'm here. What you need? I got you. What you need me to send you something? like like you have just, and we haven't even met each other, but
Right.
you have been truly a true blue friend, and I truly appreciate you. And when I say, your community is, they should be honored to have you as a leader, because when you really embody, when you talk about winning Wednesday and all bets on me, it's, you really are saying, I am betting on each and every one of you every day. And I thank you for that, because that is what you truly embody. That's what you say, that's what you mean, that's what you post, but that's just who you are.
Oh,
That's what your spirit is. And so I thank you for that, for being a true blue bets on me person. I appreciate you for
thank you, Effie.
that.
I appreciate that. But I don't know if you remember. I told you and the other sister co-authors is what I call y'all, my sister co-authors, that y'all stuck with me for life. So I'm that was more than just writing a book together. It
Yeah.
was more than that. Like, and so of course I'm gonna bet on, when I say all bets on me, you're right. It's not just me. Um, I'm betting on you, I'm betting on other women. I'm betting on us all together because I've been in a position to where I didn't know what it mean to bet on myself. I thought I was
Yes.
doing something wrong for, betting on myself. And so I wholeheartedly believe, and I want to motivate and inspire and encourage other women to let them know that it's okay for us to bet on ourselves. We have to, because if we don't bet on ourselves, who will?
Who will?
Who
Who will?
will? No,
Yes.
nobody will if we don't bet on ourselves. And when you bet on yourself, it does not mean neglect your family. It does not mean neglect your husband. It does not mean neglect everything else. It means making you a priority, taking you off the
Yes.
back burner and putting you in the front on your priority list where you have all those other things, because we make everybody else and everything else priorities. And so our true happiness comes when we bet on ourselves. And so I just want
Yes.
to, keep pushing women to do that. Not like forcefully push you, but just gentle reminders here and there,
Yes.
here and there, just to let you know that it's okay. You should be betting on yourself. And there's nothing
Yes.
wrong with that. Um,
And I appreciate you for that. I appreciate you for that, because we have talked and inbox and text, and you have just never given up. And I solely appreciate that from
oh,
the tops, the bottoms, the depths of my heart. I truly appreciate that.
oh, thank you, Effie. I only gave you what I know you would have given me.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely.
That's what you
Absolutely.
give out. That's what you give out. So I return the look. I return the favor. That's what we do. We sisters.
Yes.
That's what we
Yes.
do. That's what we do
Yes.
for each other. So
Yes.
I have one more question.
Yes.
Um, when well, two more. When you think of the term "all bets on me," what comes to mind?
For me, it's an action. It's definitely an action. Um, I remember people advising, suggesting, um, and I may sometimes do it or listen to their direction, but I didn't believe it either. And so, um, Of course, if you don't truly believe in something and you do it, it doesn't really come full circle. So all bets in me is I have to get up and act on that. I have to I have to do it. I have to participate in my own life and not just stand on the sidelines of my life and think that this big win is going to come through. But I have to participate in what I think that win is going to be. And again, and I hate to use grandiose words, big or small, because sometimes a win is just a win. And I don't want people to think that because it's smaller than someone else's or it doesn't equate to someone else's, that it's less than. And that is not the truth. A win is a win. A win is a win.
Mhm.
So every time you win in your life, because you are doing action every day to see a result, that's a win. And so when I hear all bets on me, that's what I think of.
Mhm. Mhm. Last question. When did you start betting on yourself and why?
I start betting on myself. If I want to be very honest, I think I start betting on myself. This was some years ago. I remember when I first became a leader as a nurse,
Mhm.
and thinking, and someone told me before, oh, go for the supervisor position. I'm like, okay, why? Like I had just had a conversation with someone had been a nurse for like 10 years and they was going to go for it. And I was like, yeah, okay. And so I just went for it because they were my mentor, they suggested, and I got the position. So even then I didn't kind of believe. But then after that, I got a call, like I think after a year, where
Mhm.
I was someone recommended me to be a director of nursing. And I was like, oh, wait a minute. I was recommended because I didn't apply for anything.
Right.
And at that moment, it was like, okay. So we had a discussion, and my mentor at the time said, you mind me asking how much they offered you? And I told her, and she said, don't accept that. Ask for more.
Mhm.
I was like, girl, are you crazy? You know, they just offered me director nurse. I've only been a nurse for like what, a year. And now you telling me to go back and push back. I ain't pushing back. But I was like, you know what? I ain't go for the job anyway, because I was kind of comfortable where I was at.
Right.
And so I pushed back. And when I pushed back, she was like, okay, so what do you want? And I
Mhm.
told her, what my mentor suggested, but because I was like, okay, well, I'm be a little cocky now, and I'm gonna add a couple more grand to that and see where that goes.
Right.
And I got the position, and I was like, oh. At that moment, I started to bet on me,
Mhm.
because then within a year, I was an executive director, and my career just kind of took off. It just took off, and I started to bet on myself.
Right.
But then I stopped
Mm.
somewhere, and I can't figure out the moment. I probably can, and that's probably another interview. Um, that's another interview. But I
Okay.
stopped betting on myself,
Mm.
and I stopped believing, and I stopped taking those actions.
Mm.
And then now, this past year, when I laid on that bed and was fighting for my life, and
Mhm.
God said, you choose right now, you can die if you want, or you can live. It's your choice. Like in the moment of death, God still gives you free will, and
Wow.
people don't get that. You
Wow.
still have free will.
Mhm.
And I chose. And who am I? Who am I to now not do what I'm supposed to do? So
Right.
look, when I tell you all bets on me right now.
Mm. Yeah.
All bets are on me right now. There is no reason why I should not bet on myself. There is no reason why I shouldn't believe in myself. There's no reason why I shouldn't take the actions. And you know what? If it doesn't work out, that's okay.
Right.
Because I'm
Right.
not hurting anyone.
Right.
I am not hurting anyone. It's okay.
Right.
It's okay.
Right. I love that. I love that. I love that. So as we come to a close, I just want to see if you have um, any like final thoughts, any final words that you want to leave the ladies with. Um, the name of the December series is Sis You Got Next, All Bets on You. Um, and I came up with that because I wanted to give women in the community um, hope. I wanted to give them fuel closing out 2020 and fuel to go into 2022, closing out 2021, and fuel going into 2022,
Mhm.
knowing, trusting, and believing that no matter what has happened to them this year, last year, year before, it's not too late. All bets are still on them.
I want all you women to know, one, it's not too late. It's not too late. I want you to know that you are worthy. You are important. You are worth the time, the effort. You are worth the saying yes to yourself. Say yes to yourself. And don't think that you have to make these monumental movements, because saying yes to yourself is just saying yes to yourself, whatever that means for you. And know that you are worthy for that. You are worthy. We all are worthy. So bet on you. And it's okay. It's okay to stumble. It's okay to not know. It's okay to be confused about the assignment. You just have to keep moving and know I will not be in the same place today. I will not be the same place today next year. I will move. I will move, whatever that looks like. And I want us to stop comparing my life to your life, my movements to your movements, my yeses to your yeses. Because your yes is just your yes to yourself. And that's okay.
I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. Thank you so much, Effie, for accepting the invite to grace the.
Finally.
Look, I wasn't gonna put that in there, but okay. Look, I thank you so much for accepting the invite to grace the All Bets on Me stage. We thank you for all that you do. Thank you for your transparency, and just thank you for your willingness to help pull our sisters out. Thank you for that. Thank you for allowing your experiences to now help others. Um, it's so needed. So I'm truly grateful, and I thank you so much for being willing to do that. We need more people to be willing to do just that. So I thank you. Um, all bets on me community. Thank you, thank you, thank you guys so much for your continued support. You guys show up here week after week, just showing support and showing love. And I thank you so much. The community would not be what it is without each of you. So thank you so much. We will put in the comments later. The contact information for Effie. We'll put in the comments the websites for both of her services, her online boutique, and her coaching services. We will put that in the comments. We'll also put in there um, her social media outlets so that you guys can connect with her. Um, we're going to end the broadcast now. Thank you guys so much. Please tune in next Wednesday for another episode of Sis You Got Next. All bets are on you. Hold for me, Effie. Thank you guys so much for being here.
Thank
Enjoy the
you.
rest of
Thank
your
you.
evening.